Oi, oi!
Greetings, heathens and heretics. Fucking hell, I don't know how long it'll take me to get used to that.
No.
Welcome to another,
A visual,
Yeah.
Another visual. We got our eyes on you.
I think they've got their eyes on us. That doesn't work that way.
Okay, you didn't say that.
They did.
Anyway, look, stop clowning around. Hello.
Welcome to another video. We're doing another Unsung banger this week because we fucking love an Unsung banger. I don't know how many times I've got to say it. This week we're talking about one of our all-time favourite bands.
Yes.
Now, they are mostly famous for one particular album, which you can see over my shoulder, but Therapy are a band that we absolutely adore and have done for way, way too long. You know, this is kind of formative years for us, bands like Therapy, mid-90s, in their actual absolute pomp. But the album we want to talk about this week comes a lot later than that. But we'll get to that in just a sec, because first we must talk about beer.
We should talk about beer. Let's talk about Radio City Beer Works beer. Delicious as it is, we've got a can each here, and we're having a lovely time, actually. And you know, it's no secret that Radio City are sponsors of the podcast, so we want to give them a shout out and encourage you all to go down to their Chelmsford bar. They've got a brewery and bar just by the station in Chelmsford, so easy to get to. But also, all their beers are available online. If you go to
rcbw.shop,
that's the place. You can order online and get it delivered to your door. And I'll tell you, it's well worth doing because this is delicious. So thank you, Radio City. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you. But let's talk about music. So, yeah, Therapy. I mean, Tregenza said it. This is a band that have been with us since our formative years. As teens, we listened to Trouble Gum, Pleasure Death. You know, they were a band that were just important. You know?
Massively important. Massively important.
But also a band that, speaking personally, I stopped listening to. So, you know, as we got into the late 90s, they did a, they kind of went off the radar a bit. 2010, they came out of an album that just got me feeling curious. There was an element of you know, I've just got a feeling. I wonder what Therapy are doing these days. I just had a feeling that this album would be worth listening to. So, the album we want to talk about today is this one. Crooked Timber. I think this is among their best work. And absolutely, this really captured me, this album. I just threw myself into it. So I had a kind of hunch that I wanted to check them out, see what they've been up to. You know, for me, it was a surprise. They were, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but, you know, it was curious to me that they were still putting out music. Turns out, I considered this a comeback album, but actually, they never stopped. You know, it was me that took a break from them. They never took a break. They kept releasing music. And off the back of this, I went back and filled in all the gaps, listened to everything they'd done, sort of between Semi-Detached and this eventually. So there's some great records in there. But this one has something really special going on. Quite heavy for them. It's quite a dark sounding album.
It's an awkward and abrasive album. This is where Therapy go down that alley of it just being less immediate, I suppose. So, you know, Trouble Gum, a classic, and right after that came Infernal Love, which was one of the most depressive things you'll hear.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was kind of the album that sort of put. I need to find the words, but put me off isn't the right way to describe it. But I just kind of stopped listening. It was a bit too gloomy, a bit too grim, which is ironic because I love gloomy and grim music now. I found my own way down that path. But there's definitely a darkness there. And I think on Crooked Timber, what they did is, you know, again, it's another example of a band that have really found a balance between those two elements of their sound. So the hooks are still there, the pop and the excitement and that kind of upbeat energy is all there on Crooked Timber, but there's a darkness too, which comes together in a really great way. It was produced by Andy Gill of Gang of Four. So a lot of what he was doing in Gang of Four, he's kind of brought to the fore here on this album. anyone coming to this for the first time that knows Therapy relatively well will notice Andy Cairns really leans into his Irish accent on this album, and that was a deliberate
fantastic.
Yeah, that was a deliberate suggestion of Andy Gill, who said, you know, be who you are, really lean into that. So for this, there's this wonderful richness to his voice that I really, really enjoy. It's a creative album. I mean, there are songs on here, Clowns Galore, Exiles, which is like this sort of huge ethereal track that just, it sounds like a journey. It really goes places.
I think when you listen to records like this, it makes you realise how creative Therapy are as a band. You know, I go back to what I previously said, that, you know, every album kind of goes down a different path. Trouble Garment into Infernal Love, Semi-Detached is different again. You've got Suicide Pact, You First, almost it's like a sludgy metal album.
I mean, that's another really dark record, a great one. Well worth a listen, actually, that one.
Even the most recent one, Hard Cold Fire, which, you know, is an absolute fucking bang. And this is like proper classic Therapy. This is 10 songs. We saw them do this whole album live at the Fighting Cocks in Kingston, which is just mad, in a room smaller than my lounge. And it just makes you realise what a fucking wonderful band they are. And the fact they can do an album like this in the middle of their career, it just shows, you know, they don't give a fuck what people think. They're doing what is right for them at the time. And that, I think that probably is why they're still doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've always managed to stay fresh.
I mean, the word integrity just comes to mind when I talk about Therapy. They're a band that have always done, as far as I can see, just done things their way, done what they wanted to do. I just have so much respect for them as a group of musicians. You know, really, really cool. And you mentioned creativity. And that makes me want to focus on one track on this record, Magic Mountain.
All 10 minutes of it.
All 10 minutes of it. But what you wouldn't necessarily realise on first listen is it's actually a cover of sorts. And I think this really speaks to Therapy's ability to take an idea and really twist it and turn it into something completely different, because Magic Mountain is actually based on the chord progression of Giant Steps by John Coltrane, which sounds completely different. Great tune though, well worth a listen. But what they've done is they've taken the chords that make up that track, and they've just slowed it down and just turned it into this doom-like dirge, which I mean, it just sounds absolutely terrifying, fantastic. But you know, to me, that's just an example of them at their most creative. You know, they talk about, you know, I shouldn't, but I'm leaning into the jazz quite heavily here. But they talk about
twice now.
I know. I'm going to take it. I'll put a penny in the swear box. But they talk about listening to Charles Mingus bass lines, you know, and turning that into a riff. This is a band that are really taking ideas from different places and from outside the rock and metal sphere, and I think that makes for really interesting music. You know, they're not playing jazz songs, but they are taking ideas from that world, you know, and anything else. Yeah, I think anyone that has followed the band will know kind of the influence that Andy Cairns takes from like literature as well. You know, a lot of, you know, I think even the title Crooked Timber is a quote from Kant, is it? I think. I'm not sure.
This is all getting a little bit highbrow now.
I know. Yeah, let's take it back to the riffs.
I think it's all of it comes back to punk, doesn't it? That Therapy have always had a punk ethic. They do everything their way, and like I said before, they do the music that they want to do at the time. Yeah. And if you're a Therapy fan, I think you're going to love it, because despite the fact that every album sounds different, it's all still Therapy. You know it's Therapy. Absolutely,
100%.
And that's a tough thing to pull off when you've been around for 30 odd years.
It is.
Without getting stale, you know, they still sound exactly like Therapy, or we should sound.
They do, yeah. And what this album taught me really is kind of shame on me for not getting involved and not listening to everything they've been putting out. From this record, I went back. I already said I filled in the gaps. There's so much wonderful music and creative music to listen to in Therapy's career. So if you haven't got involved, or if you didn't travel too far beyond Trouble Gum, go back, listen. You will be rewarded.
Pleasure Death. I mean, it goes on and on. Cleve, another
unsung banger, really.
And completely fucking out there. Semi-Detached was, at the time, felt a bit awkward, like Church of Noise, the first single that came from it was a fucking banger, but after that it was, but
I used to
got more of appreciation for it now.
A long time ago, I used to DJ, and I'd always open the set with Church of Noise, just because, says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah,
welcome to the Church of Noise.
Exactly. That's my kind of fucking church. So, yeah, just a band that deserve all the love they get, all the respect they get, and whether they're playing, they've just gone out and done the Trouble Gum tour, which we went to, and they were just on fire.
Yeah,
and they've still got that, that willingness to do it, and that long may it continue. That I saw Therapy do the 10-year anniversary. They've just done 30, and they've done 30 years of Trouble Gum. They've done 25 years of Trouble Gum. I'm always going to celebrate that album, but there's so much in their catalogue that needs to be shouted out.
Yeah, and I think that's the point, isn't it? When a band are known for one part of their career, I think it is worth just lifting some of the other rocks, see what's underneath, because there really is a lot to discover, a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, full respect to Therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out, love them.
Fucking fantastic.
That's it. Crooked Timber. Yeah, get it on. I'm just looking at the track. The Head That Tried to Strangle Itself. Enjoy the Struggle.
I'd love to know what inspires a song title like that as well.
Love it.
But there you go. Thanks for listening. You may wonder about the t-shirt I'm wearing. Yes, we have merch. So if you want to go and check it out, if you go to our socials, the link below, links in our link tree, and go to that. T-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of stuff. So you can even get yourself a record bag and go and buy some vinyl. Get yourself down to Black City Records and spend some money. So please check that out. And that's it. Thanks for listening. No, that's something else.
Thanks for watching.
Please leave your comments below about this album, about Therapy. Tell us all about your love for Therapy, stories, whatever you got, because I think we've all got something about Therapy.
Well, they're a band that just followed,
Yeah, I've got points in my life where I can relate to Therapy as a band, whether it's the first gig I ever went to, moving to London, which was Therapy.
Yeah.
It kind of goes that way. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you leave your comments. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
Cheers.
And cheers. We'll see you next week.